Hello, it's Burgess Taylor. How are you? Instead of doing a video on Friday because I was really busy, I got really into the writing and I didn't take a breath really other than to do a few things that were on my to-do list and I had to get done. But I was really into the writing. And what I have realized since participating in the Artist Way self-guided course and now in the Right to Write that things have changed for me. And I thought I'd share a little bit about what I've learned and what's helping me fight fear, which includes procrastination and self-doubt, at least in regard to my writing and some of my art. Those feelings of I'm not good enough, this sucks, I'll never get published. Published? Hell, you can't write a decent first line. Why are you even thinking about being published? Those kinds of thoughts, the ones I'm talking about. Most, if not all, creative people suffer from that, from the self-doubt, which is actually fear. But if you turn that fear into motivation, into positive affirmations, if you turn it around into something that works for you, then you can finish the book or art project or that song you've been trying to write or the do-it-yourself house project you've been thinking about doing but you don't think you're quite talented enough to do it. You can turn that self-doubt, that fear, into a positive thing and have it motivate you. It's sort of along the same lines of when you're sad, like when you go through a breakup or when something happens, use anger to move you forward for the push that you need. And then before you know it, you're utilizing other feelings other than the sadness to help you. And then the sadness is easier to deal with. And before you know it, you're dealing with it because you're busy. For me, being busy helps me with a number of things like anxiety and depression and things like that. But if you don't do anything, if you wallow in that fear, in the self-doubt, then that leads to procrastination. And that also includes self-sabotaging. So the more you wallow in all of that, the more you procrastinate, the more you end up not doing what you really want to do but are afraid to do. If you take a look at what your fears really are, what underneath the surface are you really afraid of? When I was completing the Artist Way, and like I said, now the Right to Write by Julia Cameron, there are certain exercises where you make lists or you journal, maybe your morning pages and things like that, and you talk about what those fears are. And I went into a lot of work to figure out things like, is the fear real? Is it exaggerated? Have I imagined it? Is it something that is justified? What are the underlying causes of that fear? I mean, am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of success? Am I afraid that I'm not good enough? Are there things that happened in the past that have caused me to fear those things that, underneath the surface? Am I afraid because somebody told me that my writing sucked or because I wasn't really talented or wasn't talented enough? Julia Cameron suggests that you negate those feelings, those fears, the negativity with positive affirmations, with different things that you can do, and with positive facts. So, for example, if your fear is rejection, you can look at how many times, say, Stephen King or J.K. Rowling were rejected before their novel was actually accepted and published. Next, you probably want to examine when you are feeling that fear, maybe write it down, exactly what you're feeling, exactly what you're afraid of. And then if you can schedule your writing into, make it into a routine, you get yourself motivated more, I think, if you set a deadline. Now, you have to be realistic with the amount of time that will work for you. Like, you can base it on a number of words or a number of pages done per day or per session. You can break it up into different writing sessions. Some people can only write Monday through Friday. Some people can only write on the weekends. Some people can only write a little bit every day, like 15 or 20 minutes. Break it down into something that is realistic. But I will say this. Stephen King said if you write 300 pages, not pages, I always want to say that, 300 words a day, you will end up with 109,500 words. That's a novel. That is a novel. You write 300 words a day. I can write 300 words a day. I can do that. What I can't do, however, sometimes is turn off the inner editor, is turn off the self-doubt completely. So what I have learned is to focus on realistic goals. Like I can focus on writing 300 words and I'm not going to worry about whether that 300 words is all my novel or that 300 words is maybe about a character or maybe about a setting. As long as my mind is in the novel, that's what's really important. You need to also figure in that you're going to have mishaps, that you're going to have delays, that things are going to happen. So maybe on 2 or 3 days, because of certain things going on, that you can't write. You schedule that in and you say, okay, well, on this day, I'll write an extra 100 words, or I'll write an extra 150 words, or whatever, an extra page, something so that you can still meet your deadline. Because if this were a job and you had a deadline, most jobs do, you have work that you have to do either every day or have projects that are due on certain days. You have to get this stuff done. I mean, writer's block doesn't work when you're at a real job. Writer's block doesn't work for writers who are getting paid to write with deadlines. They have real deadlines. I mean, I'm sure that there are writers who don't meet their deadlines and they have to get extensions, but you don't want to be one of those writers who's always getting extensions unless you really can write books and you don't have very many problems. And I would believe that there are a lot of writers out there who do struggle sometimes. But just don't let the deadline slide. Don't say, oh, well, I can put it off. I can do it later. That really is self-sabotage because it's going to hinder you and you're going to end up not meeting your deadline. Like I said, you can adjust. Remember that self-doubt, that perfectionism, that procrastination, the self-sabotaging, all of that stems from fear and they feed on each other, all of those things. So don't be a victim of that fear. Just remember it's one word at a time, one sentence at a time, one day at a time, one chapter at a time. You got to write. And I think my biggest thing is not putting so much pressure on myself for that sentence or that paragraph or those pages to be absolutely perfect. That's really what the editing is for. I have been slowly but surely working on the fear and the procrastination and the self-sabotage and the self-doubt. And I have to say that my writing has really improved, not in necessarily the quality, but the whole. I'm getting more writing done. I'm more serious about my time when I am writing instead of putting things off or procrastinating, watching YouTube videos, doing certain things. I have now since been utilizing my time better. I have been in the process of cleaning my writing room, getting rid of clutter. I have been getting rid of clutter in the house. I have been trying to organize my life, my time, my routine, and my rituals to better serve me. I've even organized my desk a little bit better. I have been trying to come up with solutions for storage so that things aren't all over the place. Still working on balancing things because I noticed that I just seem to not have enough time to do everything that I really want to do, and something always seems to suffer. That's my next big task, is to really work on having more balance. Until next time, I will have a video Sunday or Monday. I think I'm going to try my hardest to film the journal stuff tomorrow, at least one of them. And then that way maybe I'll get that one uploaded if I can get it done and get it edited in time. If I can't get the camera to work like I want it to do the actual flip through, I may end up taking pictures of all of the pages and putting it together in a video. Not quite sure. So, but I'm trying to get that done, trying to get some things done with my bullet journal so that that part, can work out. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.